This episode of Dentside Depot, our super awesome Crown Vic Slop 79 F150 is about to get the ultimate cooling system for the engine from Cold Case, so stay tuned. Let's unbox this and see what we got. Okay, now before we unbox our awesome cooling system here, let's catch you up on this project because this is actually going to be the last build video that you will see on this truck until it's actually done, which is installing our cooling system. So we have a 79 F150 Lariat here. Super nice original truck. This is the first video you're seeing with the paint all cut and buffed and looking really nice. We have an awesome interior with a lot of cool stuff. A AC conversion, Crown Vic swap front and rear. It has a Mercury Marauder rear axle in it, and a 351 Windsor with an AOD automatic and all the goodies on it. So the last thing we need to do here is this truck needs some cooling power, and it's got a nice little cam in it, so it's definitely going to need some good cooling power. So as always, I turn to my friends at Cold Case Radiators because they provide the absolute best solution for any 73 through 79 Ford pickup truck. We're going to get this unboxed. This radiator works for two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive trucks. So let's see what we got here. One thing that you'll notice here is that this box is absolutely ginormous, and that's because not only does it come with the radiator, we ordered their full kit that comes with the fans and the wiring harness, so we can do everything that we need all in one kit, so you're not searching around for a whole bunch of different products or anything else. We're getting it all at once. So we have our EF1 fan wiring kit because we don't have EFI. We're just going to do standard relays on this truck. Okay, that's going to be our shroud fan setup. The kit comes with two fans that you see right here. Oh. The radiator itself. And of course, if you don't want the fan kit and you want to run a standard shroud, you can also do that. Awesome looking piece. You get a little sneak peek right there and see what it looks like. So I'm going to get it all the way unboxed and we'll start getting the shroud set up, and then I'll get you into wiring. I'm going to get you all the way through the install so you know exactly how to put this on your 70s Ford pickup truck or any vehicle at all. Okay, and I've got everything unboxed here, so let's do a product overview here of everything, and you can see how nice this radiator is. It comes with this really cool looking radiator cap that looks awesome. It's spray painted black in the front with the Cold Case logo. You can see how nice and thick it is. And also, this radiator is going to flow more and better, more efficient than the factory supercooling radiator because of how it is designed. Not to mention it's aluminum, so it definitely looks pretty awesome. Now here we have the shroud for our fans. You can see it's going to be two 12-inch fans, and it's really simple to install. You just have 4 bolt holes here on the front. Now the way I like to do this is I use the factory hardware here that's found on body bolts, which is a 1/4 inch bolt, and it's slightly too big for these holes. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my drill and I'm going to drill these holes out really quick. Now with all 4 holes just hogged out a little bit to 1/4, the shrouds are simply going to go on top like that, and then I'm just going to take all my bolts, put them all in, tighten them down, and then believe it or not, we're ready to put this on the truck. This job at this point, I mean, this is not a very labor intensive thing to do, but it's definitely super important for the long-term viability of your pickup truck. Okay, and I have the radiator with the fan shroud installed. We're going to put the fans in here in a second, but I did run into an issue with this particular truck, and it had nothing to do with the radiator itself and everything to do with my extra big trans cooler that I have for the AOD trans that's going in. So the problem is you have limited space in between the radiator and this support bar right here, which you have to have because this holds the hood latch and it needs to be in this exact position, and you don't have much room to really negotiate with this part. Well, the issue that I was having was this was in far enough that it was contacting the inside of the radiator. So obviously I have my AC equipment and my trans cooler here, and I actually wasn't even happy with the fitment of this just as it was, and I ended up shimming it out about 3 washers worth of shim to make sure I had just a little bit of clearance right here so it wasn't, the transcooler wasn't hitting against this bar. Now I was okay with doing that because I already knew I was gonna have to shim my radiator to make room for it because of my custom application that I have here, because this is not factory equipment that you're seeing, this is aftermarket stuff. So I needed more room. So what I did is I just made some shims for the radiator. You only need 4 of them, and this is why I keep extra like little suspension bushings and stuff around, because you never know when you can use this stuff. So I had some of these here in stock, and I just cut this part off, and the bigger ID end ended up being the perfect width for the spacing that I need. So I made those 4 spacers, got some extra bigger hardware going through, and now the radiator is mounted. And something you need to note, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, different years, and no matter what radiator that you're using, that you're gonna have to put some space on here, especially when you have AC. So just account for that. My top spacers are a little bit smaller than my bottom ones, so my radiator is set up nice and even going top to bottom. So that brings us to the next part, which is going to be installing the fans. So I have our fans right here, and this is pretty much the easiest part of the install, right? Haven't even unboxed them here yet. So we have this hardware pack, all right, and we're going to be using that in a second. So just open up our box here, and you can see what we got is just some fans, and you can definitely put these on after you have the shroud installed. Last time I did this, I pre-installed them, and I just made everything heavier for myself than it needed to be. So all you got to do here for this setup, have 4 of these plastic clips, and all you need to do with these plastic clips is just find this spot right here and just push them in, just like that, all 4 of them. 2, 3 is coming straight up. Okay, wires coming straight up, just like that. And then I will bring the wires over so I can get my good ground, my power, and also my 12-volt switch for the wiring that we're doing for this particular setup. Obviously, this is super simple here. All I'm doing is just taking the hardware provided in the kit, and I'm just simply bolting it into the shroud. It couldn't be any easier than that. Even if you don't have a lot of space in between your engine and your shroud, which is highly unlikely, this is still very easy to do with the radiator already mounted up to the truck. And I'm gonna get you through this wiring. It is really not that hard once you understand what is going on here. And Cold Case gives you the directions to show you how to do it as well, and it's not that bad. Cold Case directions, you can see we are doing an EF1 kit, and it depends on what you're doing. If you're running EFI with a power distribution module, this is gonna be different, but we are running our own external wiring specifically for the fans. So what I've already done, I already have the main lines for the fans set up on the shroud, coming around with the extra slack near my relay and my fuse that I'm going to be running, which I will explain in a second. Now the relay is what's going to be the basis of all your wiring. You have 4 pins, 85, 86, 87, and 30. And I have labeled them here so you can just see for demonstration purposes which one or which. But if you pop the cover off the relay, it'll show you on the bottom of the cover which number is which, so you really can't mess it up. So let's talk about each one, starting from the bottom with the lowest numbered one, which is 30. So 30 is going to go directly to the battery. So for my setup, I'm going to take this wire, and it's actually going to terminate right here on my little fuse box. I'm going to put a 30 amp fuse here, which is more than sufficient, but not too much for 10 gauge wire. And then that is going to route up to the hot side of my starter solenoid. You could also put it right to your battery, or if you have another power distribution lug, you could put it there. That is number 30. Next up, we have number 85. So 85 is this one right here. It is the blue wire. Now 85 is going to go to a switch 12-volt source. So for my particular project, I know I have an open source over here. Let's see where it is. It's going to be this one right here. Okay, so I already have the alternator set up for that switch 12-volt source. So I can pull that reference signal from the alternator wire, which is conveniently already located near my alternator, so I can wire that straight in and that won't be an issue. That's where I can grab that. But anywhere where you get a key on, 12 volt, key off, no 12 volt is sufficient. Next up, we have 86. 86 is the white wire that you see right here, and that is going to go to your thermostat switch. This is your thermostat switch, and that's going to go into preferably your manifold wire number 87, and that's going to go directly to the fan harness. So you can see here is wire 87, and that is going to go directly, be spliced in to my 2 fan wires because I have 2 of them. And note that this relay is 40 amp. It's designed for dual fans. So that's going to splice in directly with that right there. Now, in addition, if you're running air conditioning, you're going to want to hook up a trinary switch. And I have this last piece right here of my trinary switch ready to go. I'm going to take this trinary wire, and that's going to come around, and that is also going to terminate in conjunction with wire 86. So either the air conditioning trinary switch or my temperature switch can provide ground to the relay and turn the fans on. Now I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to have 3 terminations within this wire. I'm also going to add my own ground switch, override switch inside the cab so I can manually trigger the fans whenever I want to. So I'm going to have 3 wires terminating at 86, and that is the correct way to do it. You want all of them to ground activate the relay. That's the purpose of the relay, so you're not getting too much amperage into the wires. Okay, and I'm essentially wrapped up here at this point with the wire, and I'll go over everything with you really quick and we'll wrap this install up. I'll show you the fans running. So obviously I have my power going to my relay at the appropriate position. I also took the ground wire over to my centralized ground lug on the vehicle. I have it fused over to my starter lug on the hot side. My 12 volt reference source is coming back and connecting to my alternator 12 volt reference source, so that is good. And then the last thing, and the thing that's probably the most confusing, is the ground source. That's why I still have these wires out here. You can see I have 3 wires going into one that goes back to the relay, and that is because that is the ground trigger for the fans. So the reason I have 3 wires, number 1, my trinary switch for the air conditioner. So when my air conditioner reaches a certain pressure, it is going to kick the fans on and provide ground to the relay and kick the fans on. The second thing that I have is the temperature switch in the intake manifold. When that temperature switch hits 190, that's going to provide ground to the fans. And while we're over here, and then you can see I have a 3rd ground wire going into the cab, and that is going to be my manual override switch. So obviously I wouldn't really know if that failed or not, but if for some reason this failed or wasn't going on when I wanted to, I can now override and put the fans on manually whenever I want. So let's go in the cab. We're going to test that out right now. I'll show you how that works. I'll put the battery cables on here, and you're going to see we turn the key on, and the fans are not going to come on until I turn the switch on. Okay, so I have power. Let's get the lights on here. So this is my fan switch. All right, I'm going to mount this. I'm going to mount this right here on the dash, so anyone driving the truck can manually toggle it. So my key is on, and the fans are not running. So now let's manually toggle the fans, and this is just a ground trigger switch. That's all it does, is provide ground to the relay. Okay, so there you go. With my ground trigger switch, the fans are now running. So like I said, if I have an issue, I can turn the fans on whenever I want to. And of course, then I can go and turn them back off again. And I'm not going to damage anything because that is a ground trigger. That is not power. And that is the advantage of having a relay. Okay, so with that being said, another great cold case install. We had to do a little bit of customization here because of the custom nature of this particular vehicle, but that's very normal. If you're looking to upgrade our service to cooling system on your 79 Ford, or really any vehicle at all, use the promo code Dentside Depot when you check out, and you will get free shipping on that order. You can order a 70s Ford truck, Radiator, like this one that you see here, or one for any vehicle that other vehicle that you may have. And you know you're gonna have the cooling power that you need, and you're gonna get the whole package all in one, all said and done. Definitely the way to go. That's why I'm putting these in all of my trucks from here on out. Not only do they look great, they cool great, and you get everything in one awesome package. So with that being said, special shout out to Cold Case Radiators. Remember to like and subscribe and keep restoring those classic trucks.